Welcome to Lead Today with me, Kalina. Let's talk leadership. Welcome to week 2. You have made it through week 1, which is arguably, I don't know. We don't need to compare, but week 1 is a unique experience, and here we are in week 2 where it's this moment of possibility. We're in the realm of opening up to what's happening now, and this cycle you might have some potential excitement for the future, but that release is recent, and so we're just gently stepping into the thought of ovulation, the thought of maybe there's a chance around day 14 you ovulate. But the more and more women I chat with, it's such a wide range, and so I think it's so important when we talk about possibility that we're careful about comparing, because it feels like when we compare, we're somehow going to figure this out. We're going to figure this mystery out, because if she did ovulation strips or IUI or naturally somehow in the first cycle got pregnant or it's like we think the more we compare to other people's stories, somehow we'll crack the code of bringing that possibility into reality. And I'm here to say, maybe, I don't have the answers. That's why it's a miracle and a mystery, in my opinion. No doctor, no human can guarantee you a baby. Really. Even the best medical care cannot guarantee you anything. And that's been my hard-won wisdom, I guess. You might disagree with me. It's really nice to put faith into something, and I find many women, and maybe rightfully so, many women put faith in the medical procedures and knowing the science and knowing protocols to try to find control in this moment of possibility. Week 2, week 3, the 2-week wait, week 3 and 4, really that's a time of anticipation. But right now, week 2, we're in a moment of possibility. We're this in-between space of, we've let go, now what are we going to latch onto? And for me, what really has helped is my faith. And if you talked to me 5 years ago, I would have never it just would have never crossed my mind that I would be saying this, sitting here saying this today. Not a chance. Because what? How is faith in God or anything gonna help with this? You need to know the facts, you need to know the process. If you have faith in the medical and in science, at least you have steps. You go to the doctor's appointment, you have to do this many tests, you have to take this many shots, you have to do this many required ultrasounds or pills or whatever it is. You have these tangible things you can check off a list. And faith in God, faith in mystery, faith in this being a miracle that you can't control. How infuriating, how difficult is that? It makes you so vulnerable, so out of control. It's all the things we don't want to be. But in a moment of possibility, that's exactly what we are, is vulnerable. And so we grasp onto some type of certainty that we either rightfully so have or we manufacture for ourselves. And no matter where you're at in this, I'm not judging it at all, because I understand the deep desire for certainty that comes with this entire journey. It's like, just you know what, just tell me when it's going to happen. Tell me when it's going to happen for me. Tell me what to do. I'll do it. If I have to drink a green juice every day, is there a certain pill? Just tell me what to do. If you just tell me what to do, I'll do it and I'll get what I want. I will do anything. And when there isn't a set path for people that have been through and done all the medical steps, they've done, they've followed all the guidance, then what? You know, when you go to doctors and do every single test and the answer is unexplained, then what? And I'm here to say, when the science, when the known, there's a point. And maybe it doesn't happen for you and maybe it does, but there's a point when the known it reaches a limit. It reaches its limit of the known. And then we're in the challenging unknown. And week 2 is so mysterious. And so if you're doing any kind of cycle monitoring or test strips, or you're trying to track ovulation, one thing I have found on a tangible level is that women have found, that I speak with, again, I'm not a doctor, this is not medical advice, but anecdotally, I have found that a lot of women ovulate sooner than what they think. And so that might be a tidbit if something you're dealing with. But at the end of the day, I want to stay away from the things you should be doing, because you can do yourself into a frenzy. And as I've said, to me, with my faith, what has truly sustained me for years, because this has been years of me going through this, what sustained me is knowing that there is no amount of doing, efforting from my part that's going to give me what I want. There are things I can do to improve my health. There are things that I can do to improve my chances. I'm not taking out my own need to put in effort or accountability. It's not that, but there is not a secret formula that if you do these 10 steps, you'll get there. There are things that can help. There are things that can get you closer. You work with somebody that does functional medicine that can give you answers. Unexplained infertility is just, it means that the doctor has not explored it enough to understand. It just means that they don't have an answer. It doesn't mean there is no answer. And so, that's infuriating too. I mean, to be told by somebody that, and you've waited and waited and gone through the trials, and the trials of month over month, and who knows, again, however whatever medical road you've been down, and then to be told, oh, well, sorry, we don't know, good luck. It's just, talk about absolute rage. So if you're in the moment of possibility and feeling discouraged, believe me when I say I understand. I really, really deeply do. And what we're doing this week from a caring for yourself, understanding yourself, is realizing that this is a time of alignment. We need to have the mind, body, and spirit synced to create potential new life. There's a possibility brewing. It's like after the winter, when spring is coming. We'll talk about seasons because it's such a nice visual way to represent what we're going through. And, there are these little buds that are going to bloom, but not everyone blooms and not everyone becomes full grown. And we have to understand that there's this potential for new life. There are these sparks and your follicles are developing, and there's this possibility that's so exciting. And so if you can lean into that energy this week, that's what we're trying to do, because your eggs have been developing. This has been months in the making, right? It's not just this week. I mean, your eggs are developing for around 90 to 120 days. The science changes on that. But these eggs carry the potential for new life. It's this code deeply embedded in you. And you're getting ready. You're getting ready to release an egg in another opportunity for potential new life, and what a miracle it is. And so the question I would say for this week is, what What would it feel like to honor this moment of possibility, trusting that your body is preparing for the divine connection of life? And again, it can be hard to let yourself fully feel. I mean, I am the poster child for this, so again, coming at you from totally personal experience, what would it feel like to get a little bit excited about the possibility? Knowing that you can handle whatever comes your way, knowing that maybe it's this month and maybe it's not, but hoping, opening up to the possibility means maybe today, maybe tomorrow, right? And the not knowing part is the part that we're going to get really, really comfortable with over the next 40 episodes. I truly think that this experience in life, the journey toward motherhood, I think is all about connecting with your divine feminine, which is your internal deep wisdom and knowing, but that which is it also embodies the faith of you've got to allow what will be to be. You can't guide every single curve in the path. You can't you have to allow these things to unfold. You can't force it. Because even if, as we've said, you do every single thing on the checklist and you absolutely try your best to follow all the rules of the doctor or the naturopath or whoever it is that you're putting your faith in their scientific knowledge, their process, no matter what, you cannot dictate when. They cannot dictate when, which cycle, which, is it this IVF? Is it the next one? Is it this natural cycle? Is it the next one? Nobody can dictate that. And so at some point, and I really do think it takes, I mean, I'm stubborn, so it took me a while. But, depending on your journey, again, we can't dictate the curves in the road. Maybe for you, it's not this way. Maybe for you, this is just really exciting and you're cool. Maybe this is the first month you're trying. Wherever you're at, I think no matter what your story has been up until right now, you've got to lean into the unknown in order to really grow and evolve in this particular journey. Every journey has certain qualities and characteristics that you'll pick up. Like if you become an entrepreneur and you start your own business, there are qualities that you'll develop, like persistence and adaptability and some level of conscientiousness, whether you're like that already or not, but that discipline. And there are lots of things you'll develop as an entrepreneur because of what the path requires to walk, to become that person, that entrepreneur. Same thing if you want to run a marathon. Every single path you embark upon has these sort of trials and tribulations, and that's what's exciting, right? And so if you're on this path to motherhood, and arguably, well, you're a woman, and that has been established, and you've gone from young girl to maiden, where you're fertile, and now it's going toward the path of the mother. This is a path you're walking that not everybody walks the same way. Not everybody wants to go toward becoming a mother, but I do think as a woman, this is an absolute rite of passage, just as your first period is a rite of passage. I do think walking toward motherhood, as it instills these skills, this ability to be in the unknown, to allow for the unknown, to be excited about possibilities without having the guarantee. I think it's such a beautiful thing that women learn throughout this process. And so, again, whether this is month 1 or month 81 of your journey, this week is about allowing for possibility while not gripping onto control. Where are you trying to get control? Where can you focus on possibility? How can you give yourself, honor this moment of possibility? How can you trust your body? How can you open up to what's meant for you. What I will do is share a link in the show notes. There are some books, notably Spirit Babies. I, again, based on what I've been through, this was super comforting. It's definitely a spiritual leaning, faith based, not one particular religion, but a faith-based type of book where you're connecting with the souls that are really meant for you. And depends what you think, do you just get some random baby? Do baby souls choose you? Is this just purely biological? Is there a mystical, spiritual component? What are your beliefs? It depends what you think. If you asked me 5 years ago, all of this just would have been like, what? I wouldn't have even thought twice about any of this. But because of the pain and loss in my life, this has become non-negotiable. So if you're navigating this and it's not been the first month and everything just worked out super easily, then I would highly recommend Spirit Babies, because your baby, if you have this is so comforting to me. If you have a deep desire to have a child, that baby is looking for you too, like you wouldn't have such a deep desire for something if it wasn't meant for you. You really wouldn't. What you've got to do, in my opinion, but what you've got to do, in my opinion, is release the control of how that baby comes to you. For me, the only way that this has worked for me so far is completely relinquishing my will to that of God's will of, okay, look, if I'm meant to become a mom, show me how, show me where. Maybe it's not the way that I thought. Maybe, like I wanted it to be this month and this time, and I want to be 30 and I want it to be like this. I had so many stipulations for how I wanted things to be, and that's just, God knows better than me, like you don't have the whole picture. 5 years ago, that version of me didn't know what I know now, and the version of me in 5 years won't know will know more than I know today. And so it's like you don't have the full picture. And the more in this week you can honor the possibility while trusting that your body knows what to do, trusting that divine connection is going to happen for you as it's meant to, the more you can release your will. It's so liberating. It's so liberating. And that doesn't mean you're just not going to put in any effort. That does not mean apathy. It means I want this. I want this so much. It's so deeply ingrained in my heart. I want this to be real. I want this to come to fruition so much. And that deep desire is on my heart for this baby. Show me the way. This possibility, this seed is there, and I want it to bloom so fully and beautifully. Show me the way. And I think that's the willingness. That's the receptivity. It's not about just being apathetic. It's about being receptive. But it's about knowing that you're not going to dictate the when and the how. You can have that deep desire for the what. We know what the what is in this particular context, but you've got to release the control to something higher. And I think when we release our control to the human, we're set up for disappointment, because no human can promise us that. No medical procedure can promise us anything. It can increase our odds. It can, help us to get closer. But at the end of the day, there's no 100% guarantee. And so I hope that this can encourage you to honor this moment of possibility, trust that your body is preparing for this divine connection in whatever way it's meant to come to you, and really open yourself up to seeing how that's meant to be. That's the exciting possibility, in my opinion, is, okay, let's see how this unfolds. That's what makes this life an adventure, because you can't control it all and you don't get to dictate as much as you think you might. You don't. And so let's see how this goes. And that's where I can cultivate a bit of excitement, in the not knowing, in the allowing things to unfold. So I wish you a very lovely week 2, filled with possibility and that allowing, that openness. As I said, I'll link to some books that have been useful for me if you're in a season of waiting, of hoping. And I'll see you for week 3 when we talk about that moment of fertilization where that spirit and matter unite, that exciting moment of, unity, I suppose. So I look forward to that. Week 3 is an exciting week. And please do take good care until then.